Hi everybody, Sean Woodland inside the CrossFit Update Studios, checking in with a man who has been to the CrossFit Games 3 times. He has stood on the podium 3 times, second place 2 years in a row, and he is the defending 2016 Fittest Man on Earth. He is, of course, Matt Fraser. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Unfortunately, you had to withdraw from the Invitational now for the second straight year. We're not going to be able to see you compete on that stage. What specifically is keeping you from competing up there in Canada?
So this year, it was just the week of the games was just long, just kind of took its toll on my body, and it was around day 2 or 3 of the games. My ankle started flaring up, and it's been a nagging pain that even with time off, it didn't go away. So my trainings had to be modified for the last 2 months. So it was more just it wouldn't be fair. I would beat myself up over it. I know it'd be a letdown to my team.
When you look back on those 5 days and that whole experience, what stands out the most to you?
I think it was the improvements I made on the events that in 2015 were kind of write-offs. So that being like the sprint event and the swimming event. The whole year, just put in a lot of time, a lot of effort into those things to try to just make more consistent finishes in whatever event came up. So I think the last 2 years, the swim event, I finished like 16th to 20th, something like that. And this year, I think I finished 6th. So I was really proud of that. And then the sprint event, obviously, went from second to last to second place. So, I mean, those are the moments that stand out where I put in the work in to improve the finishes and the hard work paid off.
Given how dominant you were at the games this past year, where do you see yourself being able to improve as you head into 2017?
I went back after the games this year and kind of looked at all the events and where I placed in all of them. And the one that jumped out pretty obviously was it was my lowest placing at regionals and the games, and that was heavier deadlift. So as soon as I got home from the games, looked up kind of a deadlifting specialist, ended up with working with Juggernaut a little bit with Chad Wesley, and he's been programming deadlifting for me. It was a movement I've been able to do even on ankle that's not 100%. And so I've been putting a lot of effort into that. And then the other one was the heavy jump rope at the games. It took its toll on me in the event, and I placed a lot lower than I would like to. So the day I got home, I called up Rogue and got one of those rope shipped to my house and putting in a lot of work on one of those. So, just trying to take those big dips out of my game and have consistent finishes all the way through.
When we talk about individual dominance at the CrossFit Games across a career, obviously Rich Froning is the standard bearer for that. He won 4 games in a row. Do you think that you can beat that mark? Why or why not?
It's kind of a tough question. Obviously, I want to say, I want to. I'm going to try to. If you're competing, why are you competing if you're not trying to win? So I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. As long as I'm capable, as long as I'm still having fun, I'm going to keep trying to win. And who knows? We'll see what happens.
A lot of competition out there. So with that goal in mind, who do you think the guys out there who could keep you from achieving that goal are?
I mean, that's a pretty loaded question. I mean, I think every guy who steps on the floor, I mean, they all have that potential to take a top spot. I mean, there's the guys that have been there, like Ben Smith. He's been there how many years in a row, and he's been on the podium 4 times now. Yeah, he's always a serious contender. But then there's always the new guys too. We saw guys out of Canada, like they gave a run for their money. So I mean, it's kind of hard to label down like I'm worried about this specific person. I'm worried about everyone.
Hopefully you are a long way from having to face this decision, but when will you know that it's time for you to stop competing?
I will stop competing when it is no longer fun. Right now, I'm having the time of my life. Not too many people that get to go work out for a living. So I'm having a really good time doing it. But the day I stop having fun, the day day I stop looking forward to going into the gym and training, I'll pack it up.
Along those lines, what do you think life after CrossFit is going to look like for you?
You know, at this point right now, I have no idea. I graduated with mechanical engineering, and that was kind of always the plan. So, probably something along those lines. When I'm done, I'll probably do something like that. I have 2 degrees in engineering, so I figured might as well put those to use.
Matt, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Best of luck training for 2017. Hope you are on the mend quickly and back to 100%.
Thank you.
Matt Fraser, the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games champion, and he is going to be a tough man to knock from that top spot on the podium next year.